All right, so this is a snapshot of our log cabin. I built it in starting the fall of 2016, poured the concrete, and that winter got it built pretty much. And we've been living in it about 2 years. So we're gonna do a future video giving you all a tour about it. The cabin, it's an 18 by 24 log cabin. And it's built right here on the north facing slope above Eagle Valley. And my wife and daughter and I are living in it. So I'm standing right in between the house, the cabin, and the garden. The garden's down here. And up here is our future dream site for a home we want to put in. And yeah, the Lord's really blessed us with a beautiful property up here in Montana. And we're excited to develop it. Hi, this is Joseph Miller. This is my wife, Sonia.
Hi.
We're here up on the mountain above Eagle Valley, and we are getting our first garden in. We have owned this property for several years. We got married 2 years ago, and this is 2020. We're getting our first garden started. So we're really excited about it. We're doing a back to Eden style garden where we just leave the soil natural as it is. We throw the rocks off of it as we can, and we added a layer of bark mulch that's been really composted already, and some manure we mixed into it. Now we're planting right in that. Also, there's a layer of cardboard on the virgin soil first, and then we put those top layers of mulch and manure on it. So we're seeing some growth already. We just got almost the whole garden in now. Mm-hmm. Got some things to finish on the fence. Up here in Montana, it's mainly the deer we're concerned about. So it's got to be at least 6 foot tall, and I went 8 foot tall with the top wire. So
Should be good.
we should be good.
So here we have 2, 3, so one permaculture bed that we're finishing. So these beds we did with different layers of organic material. We did first a layer of wood, sticks and wood chips, and then some straw on top of it. Then we did water that to have it really moist. And then on top of that we did put some ashes, manure, composted chips, wood chips, and then some topsoil on it. And now we planted in the topsoil. So the goal of these permaculture beds is to have a really rich layers with good nutrients for the plants, and it keeps the moist also really well. So that's why we did that. We're trying it. It's our first time doing these beds and the garden here, so it's a lot of experimentation.
My wife is from Switzerland. She's amazing. We got married 2 years ago, and so she has another native language. And I'm Montana native, born and raised here, so yeah, cool. It's exciting. All right, so we got, honey, you planted this garden, so while I was working on the fence, so why don't you tell them what we have?
Yeah, so here we have some corn and some green beans down there, and several plants of squash. And then further we have some carrots and onions and tomato plants, pepper.
What are these right here?
These are squash.
These are squash.
Uh-huh.
Both ends of the corn patch we planted squash plants. So here in this soil we have, I'm gonna dig down a little bit. You can see the brown clay is at the bottom. Then we did a layer of cardboard. It's actually decomposed very well. Here you can see some of the cardboard pieces. That is first on top of the soil. And then I put about 2 to 3 inches of this bark mulch material. It still has some bark fibers in it, but it's mostly composted dirt. And then we mixed a manure, just a cow manure on top of that, and layered it, and then mixed it in, and we planted right on top of the virgin soil. We didn't till it or plow it or mess with it at all. We just scraped off the forest, basically. Took the stumps out. There was a lot of trees growing right in this area a couple years ago, so we took the stumps out, cleared all the brush off, and just scraped it with the blade of an excavator. And then I put this cardboard on for weed control, and we just put our dirt on it, the compost and manure, and now we have this cardboard is actually decomposing very well, and we're just digging down about 3 inches, 4 inches, and planting right on top of that, and then we just cover up the seed with our mulch material, and we'll see if it grows. We got some potatoes coming up really good over here, so let's look at those. So we got tomatoes and peppers here,
Some basil.
and basil, home-started plants.
With potatoes, with tomatoes.
All the smaller plants we started inside the house and are now planting them outside, transplanting them. Here's the potatoes coming up. How old are they, honey? About a week?
Last week, yeah, about a week.
About a week old, so they're coming up well. Our land here, we have 10 acres. This is the only south-facing area on this property where there's a little finger ridge going across here. We're gonna have a home site here in the next 10 years or so. We just live in a cabin right now. But this is tipped towards the south, so it catches all the sun. It's really good. Most of our property is north-facing, which is really good for moisture. There's a lot more rain, a lot more vegetation growth, and more snow in the winter. But this area is good for garden because it's getting more sun. So I'm going to put some radishes in here. Radishes, you plant them pretty thick, and then once they start growing you can thin them out if necessary. Pull a couple plants out so the ones get bigger that remain. Cover it with a little bit of manure and dirt. Yep. So my dad is Lloyd Miller, who some of you might have seen on previous videos. I grew up having a big garden. My mom always kept a very big, good garden, lots of corn, potatoes, every kind of table vegetable you can, the most common ones anyway. I grew up weeding the garden. I loved doing some planting and especially harvesting the fruit. I planted fruit trees with my dad when I was 8 or 9 years old, and so I really want to keep that tradition going up here on the hill, and want to get some fruit trees in this fall. But we're just excited to start gardening ourselves. We grew up, benefiting from, both my wife and I, from our parents' garden, and now we're learning to do it ourselves. So what I'm doing next to finish this fence is I'm putting a rail in at about 6'6" off the ground between my wire and the top wire. So my welded wire fence is 6 foot tall here, and then this upper wire is about 7'6" to 8 foot off the ground. So I'm putting a stabilizer rail in the middle to keep it stable and also prevent any adventurous deer from jumping through there. So this will keep my fence totally stable and secure. So put a couple screws in it to hold it in place, and then I'm going to use 6-inch log screws to hold it permanently. There we go.